Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
The world's just changed so radically, and we're all running to catch up. How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect? The best intentions. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
Dr. Malcolm, I had to share a few campfire stories with my uncle.
You can convince the Washington Post and the Skeptical Inquirer of whatever you want. But I was there, I know what happened, and so do you.
I don't think you're giving us our due credit. Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Hello, welcome to episode 38 of Jurassic News, where we discuss recent movie, toy, and franchise news for the Jurassic series. I'm Brad.
I'm Dave.
And here we are. We missed out on July, but we're back for August with some news. Camp Cretaceous has finished. Dominion's extended cut has been released in some countries, and the toy train has kept on going strong for Mattel. But before we get to that, David, you've been picking up some nice stuff, I see.
I have. So first off, I couldn't remember if I mentioned this one in our last minute or not, but I got the Hammond collection Rexy, and she is amazing. Fits so many, does pretty much all of it. Fits so many movie poses.
I remember when we had a look at the photos when it was revealed. You commented that it was probably it'd be the last Tyrannosaur you'd buy. We are going to challenge that a little bit later with the SDC set that come out with the Outpost Chaos set. But it's all the photos I've seen. It looks fantastic. I haven't seen it in person yet. I hope to see it in person soon so I can purchase it.
Yeah, it's I actually ended up getting rid of like 3 of my other Mattel T-Rex figures after. And then of course I got other couple little pickups. I got the Jurassic Park 3 Rescue Mission Junior novel from when that came out. I always liked the cover with the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus together. So I went and found a way to edit the the little text blurbs off the cover there, leaving just the Spino, the T-Rex, and the logo. But then I looked inside, and it turned out that this thing had been a wealth of untapped production images from Jurassic Park 3. So yeah, I posted those. So I scanned those up and posted them up on Behind the Gates. And of course, the Dominion extended cut that came in yesterday. I was excited about that. And then I finally added the Willis and Geiger messenger bag, the bag that Roland is carrying his stuff around in the Lost World. So that one actually I was grateful for, or I was lucky with, because there's this one that had been on eBay for so long, and it wasn't in exactly the best condition, especially for what the seller wanted it for. And then this other seller came by and posted theirs up for like $50 less.
Cool.
And then I stuck it on my watch list, and then the seller sent me an offer taking an additional $40 off. So that one ended up being a really good buy.
Score. It's sort of one of those things. It's you don't want it to be in the best condition, so it's sort of got a bit of that realism and use distress to it. But then you want to have the price reflected on that as well. So.
Well, thankfully this one was actually in better condition because the leather didn't look like it was as cracked, and when it came, the leather is actually very smooth and in very good condition. The inside has the one of the dividers is kind of broken away at the bottom, but I'm not really going to use it for anything, so it's going to be mostly a display / costume piece. So that's not a problem anyway.
Yep, and getting that in your collection or to the costume pretty much makes it a complete Roland costume for the Lost World.
It does, yes. So this basically completes my all original parts Roland costume, except of course for the Rolex for obvious reasons. I do not have Rolex money.
Is that how do I put it? Is it a Rolex release of the time that's no longer being sold, so that's why it's expensive, or is it still a current model Rolex that's just
I think it's still expensive, but Rolex is just... I mean, they still make it, but Rolex is just a very expensive company in general, so I don't have like $1,000 to just drop on a watch.
It still holds its price pretty well, even 25 years later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still, I don't make Rolex money at Amazon. They pay me, but not that well.
No.
And finally, I left the best for last. My favorite acquisition I've gotten over the last month is I have a new addition to the family. I got a new puppy.
Little puppy dog.
Yes, and she is adorable and loving, and she adores the puppy poo out of me. And she's just the sweetest thing. We're getting her trained up. We had her like an hour, and she already loved fetch. She's about almost 4 months old at this point, and she is just the most precious thing.
And she is a dachshund?
Yes, she's a mini dachshund. So
yep.
She's like half the size of a normal dachshund, which are already very small dogs. We step on her more than we would like to admit.
Oh, yes.
Like I mean, a little paws, the tail gets in the way on occasion. She's starting to learn to stay out from under our feet, but yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. They stay close for those first few months, especially when they know you got food.
Oh, yeah. Well, thankfully, she's actually... We think she doesn't actually know what human food tastes like yet, because we don't give her human food, so she's not begging, because we think that she just doesn't know what she's missing out on, and so for as long as she doesn't know what she's missing out on, we're going to try to keep it that way as long as possible.
Yeah, that's very good, because I know my I won't say puppy anymore. She's 4.5. Has had people food, and when you are sitting down to dinner, she's sitting there giving you the sad eyes, saying, "Where's mine? Can you give me some?" So, yeah, one thing to train out of her from an early point. But I suppose to bring it back to Jurassic, some point, her name, is it Jurassic themed? Jurassic related? Or?
It is not, no. I did buy her a Pupasaurus Halloween costume, though, so. There's your Jurassic relation. No, her name is Penny. I actually named it from Penny Pasta, which is a smaller version of Mustacholi pasta, which is, of course, long and noodle-shaped like a dachshund. So, of course, Penny, and then it just kind of... It was originally going to be spelled like penne pasta, but then I thought an I at the end kind of looked cuter. So that's what I went with Penny, with the I at the end. But nice. It's supposed to be like penny pasta.
Yep. Ah, cool. Busy month. Busy month of new acquisitions for you.
I have been exhausted between the dog and things ramping up at work right before peak season coming up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've been so tired.
Yep. Just quickly, I went into a department store recently, and they only have a very small toy section, and it's normally very overpriced. But I found the Legacy kitchen set in there, which I wasn't even looking for. So I picked that up. Looks great. The Hammond Collection Triceratops I've seen on shelves, grabbed that even with its issues. I think it still looks okay. And we didn't get an Amber Collection Trike, so picked that up. And I don't think I ever mentioned the Amber Collection Hammond I got a couple of months ago too. I just seen it sticking its face out of my closet during the week, so I thought I'd better mention that as well. So
the Hammond Collection Triceratops, even for the kind of the faults that I noticed in it, looks to be a great figure. I've seen some of the pictures coming out of it that fans have been taking, and it looks like a really cool figure. So that's a great pickup.
So now it's, even though I swore off Hammond Collection because it's overriding the Amber Collection, I've got 3 of the Raptors, Parasaurolophus, now the Triceratops. I'm not getting the humans just yet. It's going to come back to bite me in the butt later, but I want to make sure they actually do a complete line before I invest in the humans. Because I prefer to Hammond Collection stuff, but that's just me. So All right, Dave, if that's it for pickups, we'll go into the news.
All right.
Congratulations, player. I'm Mr. DNA, and you're the first person to ever beat our game. So we want to reward you with a trip to Jurassic World's brand new state-of-the-art adventure camp. That's right. Get ready to join us at Camp Cretaceous.
Grand? Mom?
All right, first up, of course, Camp Cretaceous Season 5 aired in July. I didn't go back and watch any of the previous episodes, just went into Season 5 blind and had to try and remember a couple of things where we were and that sort of thing. I think for the most part, it was okay to watch. We sort of cut down on a lot of the keenness, the stupidity, whatever you want to call it, of Season 4. I wasn't really a fan of the tie-ins they done for Dominion. I don't really see why this had to be delayed or had to be released after Dominion.
I honestly think that it would have been a lot better if they had released this before Dominion instead of after, because then it kind of not only introduces key characters, but their personalities and kind of explains some of the little cameo pieces and Easter eggs that you see around Dodson, like the can, for example.
Yeah, that wasn't done very well.
No, I kind of hypothesized that the can was at some point picked up by somebody and then dropped again, or maybe a dinosaur or something. Somehow it got out from underneath that pile of mud, got washed further away and closer to the coast, and that's where Dodson found it.
Well, we've never seen a compy nest, but I can imagine it being like a raven's nest or something like that, just picking up all the little shiny bits and stuff like that, and they could have easily picked the can up.
That's an idea. Yeah, I like that.
And then dropped it by being spooked by a larger carnivore or something. So that's sort of okay, but just some of the other stuff that framed it the way. But as have you watched your copy of the extended version of Dominion yet?
I have not. I've been doing a lot of horror marathons, so it's been ghost movies for the last 2 days.
No, that's all right. I haven't picked up a copy yet. I've been reading mixed and quite different thoughts on it. Some say it flushes Dodson out better. Some say no, it doesn't make the movie much better at all. So I'll have to have a look at that with my own eyes. But I think Camp Cretaceous coming out before Dominion. We knew Dodson was in the film, so I don't. Yeah, especially with the end of Camp Cretaceous, sort of them off the island. It's still before the events of Lockwood Manor, except for the little ending bit that pretty much happens the same time as the Lockwood incident. So
Well, a little bit after, I think it's supposed to be.
Well, after the dinosaurs have been released on the continent anyway, so it could have tied straight into Dominion where we are post Fallen Kingdom, but they wanted to do it that way, so that's the way they did it. Yeah, but now it's all said and done. I'll be interested to see if they release a 5-disc set or something for the whole series. Yeah. I might pick it up just to rewatch one day, because you never know the way Netflix picks stuff up and drops it again. It might disappear one time down the train, or go to Peacock or somewhere where I can't watch it. So
I will say that I did go back and watch like the second half or the back half of the 4th season before watching the 5th. And I infinitely liked the 5th season better than the 4th. It was like, this is how you end the franchise. I mean, Dominion did not have this kind of finite yet wanting more kind of ending where I watched it and I'm upset that it ended, even though if only because I really liked how it ended, you know?
Yep. Plus we get Eddie and the Tyrannosaurs back again, so we're fearful of their status at the end of season 4, because it seemed like they just killed them off screen, but they're back. Looking over the series as a whole, as a bit of a filler between Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, just exploring a little bit more of the park that we didn't see in the film, having that sort of story run along there while the movies were progressing along as the years went by. I think at the end of it all, it was a bit of a success. I know a lot of fans loved it. A lot of fans don't, but I think maybe they just aren't a fan of the animated stuff. So I think across the board, yeah, season 4 is definitely a low point. But I will say that I think that
another problem is that there's a large group of people who just consider animation is for kids. Like they see, oh, the Clone Wars, it's animated, must be for kids, even though there's like countless decapitation and dismemberment and like adult themes like friendly fire, and it's just like, no, just because it's animated does not mean it's for kids. Would you ever let your child watch South Park? Any sane person's answer is no.
Yeah.
If anybody's unfamiliar with South Park.
Yep. And I sort of had the thought the other day, what could it have been done live action? And you could have done it, but you probably wouldn't have seen as many dinosaurs just because of budget.
Oh, definitely. It would have, if this was 1-to-1 in live action, either the production values would have sucked, or the budget would have been like higher than, like for one season would have been higher than for all 3 Jurassic World movies.
Mm. Yeah, it's sort of the times too. When this started was before Disney had the volume and that sort of thing, and now everyone else is sort of building their own and that, and having their shows take place in the volume. If they'd done it like, I could see, yes, a lot of indoor stuff, and we do in the cartoon get a lot of indoor stuff, the tunnels, the secondary control room, that sort of stuff. But you do, and even you could have the jungle a bit more dense, so you can't see as far through it. But then you'd lose your Galmos Valley sort of vistas, and your Main Street sort of stuff would sort of, you'd tell they're not really there, they're not real sets, I think.
Yeah. In a way, it'd probably feel cheaper if it was done, like it would have looked cheaply done if it was live action. Because I doubt that they would have gotten the budget necessary to actually do it right, you know?
Yeah, and you've also got the other issue of casting actors back in, God, when did this start? 2018? 2017? Was
something like that, yeah, and then the show going on for as long as it did.
Yeah, like even...
So, I mean, those people we did see the characters, like, going through a time progression, like some of them, like their hair was getting longer and Kenji was growing facial hair and stuff like that. But it's harder to keep that kind of continuity in a live action setting, just because kids grow faster than the stories can be told.
Yeah, yep. At least if you cast older than sort of in mid to late teens, it's sort of get away from some of those earlier growth issues and that sort of thing. But in saying that, their voices have been pretty much consistent across the entire time as well. So yeah. I don't know what else. Anything else for Camp Cretaceous? Do we think there might be something else animated? It's been very quiet since Dominion come out. There's been no more discussion about the live action series, if that's still happening. I think just today I read on Twitter, Bryce and whoever the actress that plays Kayla Watts have both put their hand up saying, if you do another Jurassic movie, we're happy to be involved. So whether there's something animated there or...
I don't know if animated is coming. I heard rumor that there's more animated coming, but it's a completely unrelated series to Camp Cretaceous. At the same time, I've only kind of heard rumor about that, and I don't know how much of it is fan speculation getting injected there, you know?
Yep. No, that's all right. We'll definitely come back and talk about it when we get some news from wherever that comes from. Legit sources, of course.
It's only a matter of time before this lost world is found and pillaged.
Going into a bit of news, apart from Camp Cretaceous, at the end of July, set designer Lauren Polizzi, probably getting that wrong, I apologise, posted some photos from back when she was working on Jurassic Park and then The Lost World, which provided us with some never before seen high quality or good quality photos on Kauai building the sets for Jurassic Park.
Yep, Jurassic Park and The Lost World. It was really exciting to see both. Because these were, as you said, never before seen photos, kind of, some of them kind of confirming things that some of the deep diver fans in the fandom already knew, but were kind of always getting pushed back against by like newer fandoms who were kind of more skeptical, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So for like example, the gate on Kauai, people always say it was these two poles that were actually used to hold up a cattle gate. And for the longest times, fans would say, no, these were where the original gates were, and they weren't. They were further up the road. And this has been repeated by some of the older fans a lot, and nobody would ever believe them until these pictures showed up showing the actual location with the poles in the foreground.
Yeah, the poles are there. There's an aerial shot here that you can clearly see the poles sticking in the ground. The gates are another few hundred feet further along the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the road does curve past the gates a lot sooner than I always thought. I thought it went the same distance again, then sort of curved around to the left. But it just fascinating images. The gate itself being built, that whole location, just the quality and the scenery of it all. The massive project it was to build the visitor centre facade. All the work that went into that, the T-Rex breakout location, that rest area, just building the tunnel into the forest there, the fence, the emergency bunker, building that, and even aerials of the visitor centre area that shows that where that emergency bunker set was built just behind it, off to the side.
Mm-hmm. And not only just like building it, but getting the materials there, because if anybody's ever seen like video or photos of people who have hiked up to the filming locations in where the gates and the T-Rex paddock are, that is not an easy hike, and it's really hard to get like vehicles up there. So all that stuff had to be either carried by hand or with like a four-wheeler.
Yeah, it's just all for just that shot, that location, and obviously the privacy of the set to have it built and not have it interrupted by the public.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, then again, if you're daring enough to climb through the jungle up a access road like that, you're free to see the set in my book.
Yeah, well, a different time too. Back in '92, what we got the date here? The 31st to the 7th, '92. So, what's that? July, pretty much the anniversary of when she released them.
Mm-hmm.
992. Yeah, back then you don't even know what Jurassic Park is. You don't even know what's coming. If this was Jurassic World or Fallen Kingdom up in the same location, you'd have drones, you'd have people hiking up there trying to get close to the set and set photos. So
well, I'm sure they'd probably have the road fenced off a bit too, like they did for Dominion and Jurassic World.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
But still, I mean, just like at the same time, set hunting wasn't really a big thing back then. Like it is now. Like these days, everybody's hunting for sets. You got whole pages built off of them, like real tours Hawaii and stuff like that. Back then, nobody really cared.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like, oh, they're Tim Burton's filming a new movie in over here. Cool. You know.
Yep.
Like, you knew what Batman was, but you didn't really have the chance to intrude on the sets like you do nowadays, just because it's so much easier with the technology and with the interest.
Even just these shots, we've had shots of the raptor enclosure being built before, but just the clearness of the shots plus the that mountain range behind it.
Mm-hmm.
At that tea gardens or whatever it's there now, Botanic Gardens. It's weird. I'll have to, because there's no actual shots of the finished visitor centre and that here. It looks very close to the lagoon without the road and that being put in front of it, because a lot of the shots are looking across that lagoon. But then, of course, there's the Lost World ones as well. Now, it's interesting that all the Jurassic Park ones are all on location sets, and then we get to the Lost World where it's all studio sets. Obviously, she'd probably climbed the ranks a little bit more and sent the lesser ones out on location, and she got to stay in a nice studio.
Her thing was she was like a set construction supervisor, so there really wasn't any actual sets built on location. Like there wasn't any exterior sets. There was the RVs, but those were considered probably more close to the props department.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that.
I did notice there's nothing here for the worker village, but my guess is that if anybody was to have some of the photos I've been trying to track down, she might have them. I just didn't want to be like, oh, you just posted these yesterday? Answer all my questions right now.
Yes, as tempting as it was, like some of the photos we've seen sort of blurry sort of images before of the RV parked on the platform, the set, the cliff set they built. But there's so much more of that set being built itself, just the expanse, how big the set is, how much plantings went into the set to make it look not like a set, and even just some of the construction around the cliff, and the hunters' camp as well. It's great photos, and it does raise the question, where are all the worker village photos? They got to exist.
Yeah, that whole trailer set was a lot more expansive than I ever expected it to be, but that makes sense because now that I think about it, that's probably where we have those shots of Malcolm running through the jungle before he gets to the RV. They probably didn't actually film that in a real jungle on Kauai. They probably filmed that on that set. Because it'd be much more easier to be controlled, like you're not getting Jeff Goldblum tripping over a stump or something on accident.
Well, you've already got the rain machines in location. It's just a matter of having the track and dolly laid down beside the ferns and that he runs through. And yeah, you don't have the uneven ground. You don't have holes you can fall and twist an ankle or anything like that. Just run across this piece of plywood or something with some pot plants on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's fantastic. I was so happy when these come out and looking through them.
I was too.
Just zooming, looking. There's also one she posted up for Jurassic during one of the takes in front of the maintenance shed or the emergency bunker. She got to hold the Spaz 12. She got to pose with that, which is fantastic to see too.
Wow. These images are incredible, legendary. Wow. Guys shoot their whole life, they never get stuff half this good.
Wow.
I mean, you can give me the Pulitzer right now, today, please.
Wow.
Competition's over, close the entries. I'd like to thank everybody who lost.
I've never been to France, but there's a mini world display in Lyon, France, recently, with a mini Jurassic Park display, which had the community abuzz too.
Yes, this was so cool. There's videos of it, there's a lot of pictures of it, and it's just like multiple kind of key scenes from the movie, from the first movie, kind of realized as a gigantic diorama with a track with the explorers going around it, and it's just so well done.
I probably should say it's probably a 12 by 12 glass container table diorama set.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is quite massive, and now watching the video, it goes back a fair way too. But as the tour vehicle goes around, all your major real set pieces of Jurassic Park are there. The Brachiosaur with the Jeeps, the sick Triceratops, the Dilophosaur paddock, the helipad, the perimeter fence gates, and the Jeeps there. And just the T-Rex breakout with the tunnel, the visitor centre, the raptor pen. If you want to represent Jurassic Park in a diorama, it's all here. and it looks fantastic. The main gates, I'd asked size. The Explorers aren't. It's not Matchbox. It's bigger. I don't know if these are custom that they've made, because there's at least 4 Jeeps as well.
I think these are all customs, because I'm not familiar with whatever scale he's using here. It's probably some kind of custom scale.
Even the forklift loading the raptor box into the raptor pen, the brachiosaurs and the Parasaurolophus and that walking in out of the lagoon next to the brachiosaurus planes as well. I hope this can go on tour or something.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah. I don't know how they'd do it, but I'd even love just trying to get a camera mounted to the Explorer so you can have like the Explorer view.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. I'm sure everyone has seen it. You'll know exactly what we're talking about. But we do have a link in the run sheet if you haven't seen the mini Jurassic World, Jurassic Park layout display.
None of these attractions are ready yet, of course, but the park will open with the basic tour you're about to take. And then other rides will come online 6 or 12 months after that. Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
David, up next, we're going to have a quick look at the Hammond collection. First off, they revealed Dr. Ellie Sattler. Continuing the human line, accessories, spare set of hands. She gets the leaf that we only see in the trailer. Oh no, she's got it in the Jeep, I suppose. And that's one big pile of shit. Hands.
Yeah, the shoulders are kind of big on this. And it's kind of produces like funny results, because it's like Ellie smash. She's been working out.
Yeah, so a couple of accessories. We commented on a Ellie mould the last episode, the episode before, but I'm pretty sure that's for the free pack of her with the Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex or something for Dominion. A different figure anyway. This one looks a lot better. I think it doesn't come with the glasses, not like the Hammond collection one or the radio, but I suppose when it's only going to be $20, it's not going to have as many accessories either.
I will say that some of the kind of smaller to mid-sized carnivores, or not, I'm sorry, not mid-sized, probably just the smaller carnivores that we've seen has kind of been why I've not been as much of a fan of the Hammond collection as I was the Amber collection. Just because I think the smaller scale doesn't really... the proportions on some of the smaller carnivores just aren't right, you know?
Well, now you've brought it up, let's have a look at the Dilophosaurus.
Exactly.
Yeah, the feet, the feet slippers it's wearing, they've had to mould the neck narrower just so it can fit the folded up frill around it. I do like the fact that it's sort of got that smile when the jaw's closed, but that's pretty much where the liking for this ends. I know there was paint issues with the Amber collection one and that, but I generally it's just a better looking figure.
Even in what was I trying to think? Amber collection scale, you could kind of excuse it as being an adult individual, you know?
Yep. And you're only getting a clip-on frill piece extended and a clip-on frill piece that's retracted. The only accessories with it. Even just the fact that it's just pretty much a darker green across the whole body. Lightens up to a bit of a creamy belly, and then some darker green at the front of the legs and the top of the back, which we know there's a lot more vibrant colours in Dilophosaur's main body anyway. So again, just we've dropped the price point to make smaller figures, and it's showing with some of the animals. So getting the Dilophosaur is a no from you. What about Ellie?
I'm probably gonna skip these two.
Yep.
I'm just not feeling them. Yes, Ellie's got those like Hulk arms, and the Dilophosaur's got the slippers, as you called them. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, agree with you 100%.
Plus, I already have a regular Ellie Sattler from the just the Legacy line, so I'm not really feeling the need to double dip.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I've got the Legacy line and the Amber collection. So you speak about double dipping. Mattel has found a way to not only give us another Tyrannosaur, but another one of their SDCC sets. We had the Ray Arnold final scene. We had the John Hammond with the egg incubator, and now we've got the Outpost Chaos set, which is pretty much the Gennaro, Donald Gennaro. We have a figure for Donald Gennaro finally on a collapsible toilet, and a pretty good looking T-Rex paint wise too. So it's not the Hammond collection T-Rex, is it? It's one of the Fresh and Devours or something.
It's the Hammond collection T-Rex, but it's basically the same paint apps, but darker.
Okay.
And I'm kind of not feeling it just because it's like it's weird. It's not like gray or anything. It's just like a dark brown with kind of darker brown highlights. It's kind of like it's night mode T-Rex or something.
Well, that's the problem you get with the scene itself being at night time. The animal or the animatronic and the CG model covered in water, so it does look darker compared to daytime when it's in the rotunda or hunting the Gallimimus, where it does have that lighter brown colours. So,
but even then, I mean, this is sold through Mattel's kind of collector focus creation line, the Mattel Creations, and any collector worth their weight is kind of going to be able, or who's buying this exclusively for the photo ops, should know that you just turn down the brightness and flip the white balance in your camera, and they'll give you the same exact effect as what Spielberg got. And I mean, I've taken a picture of the basic Hammond collection T-Rex chasing a Malcolm figure, and it, I mean, not to my own horn, I thought it looked good.
I liked it. Yeah, well, there's that. The toilet itself is just a lid, or the roof comes off, and then the whole 4 walls lift off as well, which, couldn't we just have some tabs to have the walls fold? Even have the walls hinge to the bottom and just open up like your drop and reveal plushies you had, just to be a little bit more screen accurate and have those panels laying on the ground. But
honestly, I think the outhouse could have been done better, just because it's kind of like a cardboard thing now. Which, I mean, I guess they're doing that to they're doing that for the kind of Kenner fan nostalgia points, but at the same time, in modern toy, it just feels cheap. You know, it feels like they're trying to use cheap nostalgia points to cheap out. And all right, I'm gonna say it. Nobody wants Gennaro. Nobody cares about the lawyer. Nobody cares about the lawyer with the mega lawsuit action.
Oh, and he's got to remove
anybody who's buying this is buying this solely for the repainted T-Rex.
Yeah. Plus, you get the sign, the T-Rex sign, concrete sign as well. Yeah, and that's the thing. They're releasing these sets as an exclusive with a set price, which is all fine and good for those that attend the convention or can order it locally or whatever online. For us around the world, I don't even know what the price of this thing was. It'd have to be $60 or $70, wouldn't it? But it's going to be $200 or $400 by the time I can get my hands on it. And I don't want cardboard. Paying that much money for cardboard, I want plastic. So it's still that frustration with Universal. We're going to get to it when we get to Dominion extended release. They're just not taking the franchise seriously, it seems, with distribution and everything else. So, but I can gripe about that later.
That is one big pile of shit.
While we're on the T-Rex breakout set, I didn't realise this was released back in April, but been showing up on stores. People have been taking photos of their creations for the Breakout T-Rex Lego set. Over the years, there's been a fair few people that have tried to submit their own Lego sets to Lego to get built for the Breakout or a Jurassic set where you had the main gates and that led to the Breakout or the fence section. And some of them looked really good. The Explorers look good. The fence sections look good. I'm not a fan of the T-Rex being a builder T-Rex when you probably just could have put one of the moulded Tyrannosaurs from one of the Jurassic World sets in there.
And it allows Lego to up the price and justify the price point.
Well, it is $100 set, so yes.
Exactly.
Yep.
I didn't personally buy this, but a friend of mine did, and I know he really enjoyed it. It looks really cool. I really do like it. I just sadly do not collect Lego anymore, but if I still did, I would definitely pick this up.
Well, looking on the other side of things too, like I'm looking up at shelves, Lego shelves here now, where yes, the Lockwood Manor set from Fallen Kingdom was an actual scene in the film, but pretty much everything else, even Jurassic World, the Indominus Breakout, all this sort of stuff is just sort of sets they've made up to tie in with the movies, and not actually sets or stuff that happens in the film. So at least now with this, we had the Tim and Lex control room and hatchery visitor center set that sort of again shows you something from the film and not just something they've made up and slapped a Jurassic World logo on. I know this has been found locally here. I'm still looking for it, and I want to pick it up. Might have to go online, get it for Christmas, if it's still in stock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lego goes out of stock very fast, and it's largely due to the kind of collector status that Lego has attained. It's not just kids building blocks anymore. And in a way, it's kind of sad because if you wanted something really badly and it sold out within minutes, you're kind of SOL now because it's gone and they probably won't restock it because it was a limited edition release. That happened to me with the Lego Titanic.
Oh, you missed out on it.
What's that?
You missed out on it.
I did, yes. Like, I asked for, I put it on my Christmas list, and before I even was able to get that list to my parents, it was already sold out.
Wow. That's not good. Sorry to hear, man.
Yeah.
Well, that will lead us into our next story with limited numbers. La La Land Records is releasing remastered, extended original soundtrack for Jurassic Park. Only 5,000 copies available, which boo-hoo, La La Records. Did you picked up the, I think it was the 2016 release, the 4-disc set that had the Jurassic Park and the Lost World extended scores on?
I did, yes. I have those ones, and then on they've of course made their way to YouTube, so I also have them saved on my YouTube account. So I frequently listen to those. I probably won't pick that up because of this, because the accounts that I have or saved are the actual like film rips, so it doesn't really matter to me about the remastering of a couple of the tracks when I already have the film tracks saved on YouTube. I mean, I suppose that La La Records could probably make a copyright claim and take those off to force people to buy this, but we all know that's a really shitty move.
Yeah, yep. And it's not, the cover's not really anything to write home about. It's just, again, the classic T-Rex skeleton above the jungle, but all just in black and white.
It reminds me of the novel cover, but with those little red lines in the Jurassic Park logo.
And it is sort of running the fine line there of saying it's remastered and expanded when there's only a couple of little things here and there that have been done. It's not a massive jump past what they've already done.
It's not like the 2016 release where before you only ever had the official soundtrack and maybe some fan rips from the movie that would leak their way out onto YouTube. Now, with the 2016 release, it was pretty much all the tracks from those first two movies by Williams.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it because I picked it up as well back when it was probably during the Lost World Minute when we got that. Just the Lost World score going from, I think, 11 or 12 tracks out to 24, 25. It just so some of the stuff we heard in the film and just extra stuff that they never ended up putting in there was just fantastic. And it's sort of, when I was saying this, I thought, well, rightio, maybe you weren't a fan of releasing or having the Lost World tied to the set original release, but I don't know. There's people that'll be jumping all over this. I know that that original 4-pack or 4-disc set went out of print and they weren't making any more of them either, so I can only imagine what its price on eBay is at the moment for those discs.
Hey! Ian, freeze! Get the game!
Up next, we've talked before about the upcoming Jurassic World, the Ultimate Visual History. We both got the Jurassic Park one and have varying thoughts on that. The cover for this new one's been released, spouting the Dominion logo, just with Jurassic World instead of Dominion, and that amber logo, and of course Blue and Beta on the cover. That one image that pretty much sums up the Jurassic World trilogy. Or does it?
The comments here on Collect Jurassic's post about it kind of sum up my thoughts, where it just feels kind of lazy. Like, do they need blue on everything? And it really doesn't. We really didn't need Beta here as well. In a way, it kind of dates it almost, because they're taking just some art from the third movie and slapping it on a book that's supposed to be about all three movies. And it feels like they just had the art department for Dominion design the cover for this entire trilogy encompassing book.
Mm. Yeah, well, looking at Jurassic Park one, and yes, even though they altered the image, just having that shot of that T-Rex, the concept art of the T-Rex chasing Alan and the kids through the jungle, just pretty much lets you know right there and there that what you're going to expect from the trilogy, running and screaming and all those sort of things.
Yeah,
I know from, even if you look at Jurassic World, some of the concept art that come out of there was the sort of the vista concept arts of the main lagoon, Main Street, and the hills behind, something like that just sort of shows you the update. It's a new trilogy. It's going to start with Jurassic World. Jurassic World's going to be heavily involved in the second one, in Fallen Kingdom as well, because of our return to Nublar. Just something, either concept art that sort of matches the same theme as the first novel, the first book, so they look good beside each other on a bookshelf for one, and two, just tying the three films together, where I wasn't a fan of Blue or Beta in the first place, so this really doesn't want me throwing me money at it until we see what the internal content is.
In retrospect, I wish both books had offered these covers as just dust jackets, and then you could have pulled the art away and just had the logo on like a black like semi-gloss cover, like, for example, and it would have just said like Jurassic Park, the Ultimate Visual History, and then Jurassic World, the Ultimate Visual History, with each respective logos. And I think that it kind of feels, I just think it would have been classier to be able to have done that, because then you get the choice of having both options, if you want to display it with the dust jacket or if you don't want to display it with the dust jacket.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like the author's got a phone call from the publisher as it's about to go to print, and you realise you haven't got anything on the cover, right? Oh, crap. And, here's an image, throw that on.
Yeah.
Some of the text on the front, we do get a foreword by Bryce Dallas Howard. There's an introduction by Colin Trevorrow, and a preface from J.A. Bayona, so he's going to get to have a bit of a voice in it as well, which is good. Although probably not real, not speculation. Probably not much criticism about what happened for Fallen Kingdom, whether he had some of his things turned down or not. And there's an afterword by Frank Marshall in there as well. So all the big names have got some dialogue in it. Yeah, this is going to be a wait and see with just what the content is. I was happy with some of the concept art that's been released over the last few months from Dominion, showing what it could have been and what it was. I'm just waiting to see what extra stuff's in here before I go out and buy it.
And I know I've expressed the speculation before, but the continuing concept art and stuff that keeps coming out about it just makes me think that they had originally scripted, maybe not filmed, but scripted an additional scene where Rexy ends up on a road, accidentally causes a car to overturn, and then gets caught up by the DFW to get captured, and then we actually saw her get captured. And it feels weird that they would have gone to such lengths to have so much art surrounding this scene only to never include it.
Yeah.
Not even in the extended edition.
Yeah, there's stories starting to come out from the production that it sort of head scratches Universal. Not so much cutting costs, but pulling time and saying you haven't got time, you've got to do this way, or stuff like that. Animatronics that were built to be puppeted, then not building the sets to allow the puppeteers to puppet the animatronics. Just weird sort of stuff. It just, again, I don't... As much hard work has been put in this new trilogy, it doesn't seem like any of the hard work's been appreciated or backed 100% by Universal. But
well, it's not just Universal. I mean, I've noticed people complaining about the quality of the visual effects in recent Marvel movies, and I just think that studios in general aren't really giving the post-production enough time to be post-production, and they just want the product out and they want it now. And I think it's this kind of impatience with the expectation of turning movies into an assembly line process that it's the quantity is going up, but the quality is going down. There's an issue I've discussed with my own supervisor at work, that when you rush me, the quality of my work is going to go down. And if you want me to do well and not just, if you want me to do it right and not just get it done just to get it done, you got to allow me that time to actually get it done, you know?
Yep. There's also the problem of having the release date set and then not budging from that. Jurassic Park 3 had the same issue.
Mm-hmm.
There's a release date set, the movie's got to be made, and unfortunately a lot of the times the visual effects are still getting done in the final moments before the film's put to print, or in this case sent out. So
like Jackson was still cutting away at Return of the King while he was like hours before the premiere.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's just like, I mean, I understand that it's a 3.5 hour movie, but at some point the studios just have to allow the creators to create.
There's so many instances where, they step back and let the directors do what they want, and the film is so much better for it. Then you have the other side of the coin where there is so much studio involvement. The film is just a complete mess. I'm not going to call any films out here, but
I will. There are so many accounts of movies where the studio gets involved and it just turns into a hot mess. Two of my favorite examples being Alien 3 and Halloween 6. I mean, there's the assembly cut of Alien 3 just is such a better movie than the theatrical cut that the producers kind of stuck all their spoons into and ruined the gumbo.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Halloween 6, where the producers, even after one of the main actors died from old age, still dragged everybody else into the studio to reshoot some scenes, and then the entire thing just turns out like crap. And then Halloween 6, of course, had a bootleg producer's cut, kind of as a like a sneer towards the producers and their just craptastic meddling into this movie. And it's such a better movie than the theatrical cut. Like, the theatrical cut is crappy, it's confusing, it just jumps, and the editing is awful, and the music is awful. And then you have this work print cut that they call the producer's cut, and it's fantastic. It's like, how could you producers possibly screw this up so monumentally?
Well, it was a good idea when they thought of it, and then someone else has a chip away at it as well, and then...
With the best intentions. Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
That's going to lead into the next story, because the Ultimate Gift Set edition of Jurassic World showed up a couple of weeks ago after not concept, promotional images of this blue and beta statue that comes with it. Had a lot of people excited, and then the actual statues were revealed of what the figure's going to look like. And did you cancel your order, Dave?
I'd never ordered this.
Oh, okay.
The original order was a CGI render, and I wasn't really that big on it in the first place.
Yep.
And then we get this monstrosity.
Again.
And I'm very glad I did not order. It's not only is the paint very crude, but the sculpt is very different from that initial concept render that they had sold us on. And it's like borderline bait and switch. It's just awful. It's like meth, not even once. Awful.
Yeah. Yep. They just look like China sauruses.
They do. I mean, they look worse than some of the Chinese knockoffs I've seen.
Yeah. Again, if it's just we have to have these things ready to go by August 2nd or whatever the date was, or if they've rocked up from the factory and someone's opened the box and gone, what's happened? We can't do anything about it. We've just got to send it. The money's been spent. Did you get the ultimate set for Jurassic World that had the Indominus and T-Rex
That one
statues?
I did get, yes.
Yeah.
And they are so much better than this. Like,
okay.
I probably displayed those for years until I just ran out of display room for them. And these ones are hot garbage in comparison. Like, they did I don't know who they got to do those Jurassic World ones, but they should have hired them to do these ones.
Was there a Fallen Kingdom one? I can't recall.
I don't think there was. I think there was just the various exclusive retailer exclusive sets that I know of. Like, I think Target had one. They had some kind of special features, and somebody had something else.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I just got, for Dominion, I just got the basic extended edition from Amazon.
Yep. I suppose when you look at across the trilogy too, the Indominus and T-Rex, they'll be bookends for the free DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever on the shelf. You'd have the T-Rex and
That's
Indominus.
how I was using them, yes.
Yeah. Which, again, no Giga and T-Rex or Giga and Therizinosaurus as your statues instead of Blue and Beta. It's a shame. That's what they done. I didn't even notice it was coming until I seen the photos of the what had happened and the outrage that happened after that with people wanting to cancel their orders and everything else. But just lastly, you mentioned the new acquisitions. The extended edition of Dominion has been released in some countries. I think places like the UK and that, they're not expecting it until Christmas or the New Year.
They are not. No, I remember seeing that from a post, I think, from Trevorrow, where the extended edition dropped on Amazon in like the US market, but not on the UK market. And somebody from Great Britain, I think, said, "Yo, what's up?" And Trevorrow said, those aren't going to drop until later. I can't remember exactly when he said, but I think it was something like that, like December.
Well, I've seen someone posted a comment. They messaged Universal about release dates or something, and Universal pretty much replied, "We don't have those dates available." Whether that was the extended edition, the Steelbook, or the Ultimate Gift Set, what that was actually pertaining to, but
I'm thinking that it was the extended edition in general, and in all honesty, a social media handler is probably not going to have that information in the first place. Like the director will.
Yeah, good point. It's just weird. I don't know how it can't just all be uploaded to Apple TV, Apple Library or whatever at the same time. Like I can't purchase it on Amazon here until the digital version until the end of August. I could probably go to eBay or somewhere and buy the physical copy, but it's still not going to get here for another week anyway. So.
Mm-hmm. Whereas my Amazon order, Amazon order, but I got the Movie Anywhere code, and it comes with both the theatrical and extended cuts of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So when I typed that code in, both were just automatically in my Amazon Prime list.
Yep. Well, that's because I was looking at the Amazon listing here, and there's a 45-minute documentary on the making of Dominion that as well, which I wouldn't mind. But I've never been able to known how to access that sort of stuff. I'll have to have a look into that. But I'll probably just wait until the Blu-ray extended edition Blu-ray comes out locally before I pick up Dominion, and then I'll get the digital version in a couple of next year before we do the minutes for it, just so I've got a digital copy. I'm not rushing out to double dip. We've got the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park next year. I'm sure there's going to be another box set that's released.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Which might just be this one with the T-Rex instead of Blue and Beta, or the Gates, or some cheap, because I have no faith in Universal actually dedicate money, or a lot of money, to celebrating the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. We'll see what happens there next year. But Dave, that's it for the news for July and August. Bit of a lull recently, been a bit busy, but hopefully we can get back into it and keep going with Fallen Kingdom.
Yep.